Hey guys, welcome to another Tabletop Warbands painting video. With the arrival of the end of the Archon on our channel, it's time for the video tutorial on how to paint Drukhari. If you have any painting tutorial requests, write us in the comments what other miniatures you would like to see painted by us. Before we start, if you are subscribed to the channel, welcome back. If you are not, subscribe, like and activate the bell. And now, let's get started! For a model with such a dark color tone, starting with a black base is almost a must. The base color we chose for the armor is the Fang. We wanted to keep it purplish but not too bright at the same time. With this color we can give base coverage to all the armor. Being the first color we use, we can also avoid being precise and do it faster. In the case of end of the Archon models, the armor covers nearly the entire body. Leave the backs of the legs and arms black. The clothes underneath will remain black. My model doesn't have a helmet. If yours does, paint that one too. The spiked parts of the shoulder pads will be painted metallic, but you can also choose to make them the same color of the armor. As you can see, the armor is a big part of the overall look of the model, so we'll make it the most detailed part. A color that contrasts well with the purple of the model is green, in this case Warboss green. Drukhari often wear this kind of cloth tied at the waist, painted with this color. If you want, you can paint other details of the model with green, to give more continuity to the scheme, but in this model there is little else you can paint. The fabric is generally located both in the front and behind. Sometimes it is less visible, barely glimpsed beyond the various accessories they wear on their belts. The two base primary colors of the model are done. You can already have an idea of the chosen scheme. Now let's move on to the metal parts with lead belcher as the base color. There are few metallic details on the model. We mainly find them on the weapon, the bayonet and the rifle butt. Then there are the spikes on the shoulder straps and various chains that they wear on their belts. You can paint grenades and other small details too. Let's leave the central part of the rifle black. In my case, the model also had a sheath blade worn on the belt, which I chose to make partially metallic, while the rest of the sheath remains black. For other metallic details we rely on gold, Balthasar gold as the base color. For this Drukhari, the only golden detail is the central piece of the rifle, but in the other models, especially the leader, there are various pieces that can be painted golden, to give a little more brightness to the model. As we usually do, the base skin color is Doombull Brown. It's a warm brown that helps us establish the base tone of the miniature. All hand of the Archon models wear gloves, so the only part you need to paint with this color is the head, including the hair. You will most likely find spikes that may be made of bone, usually more than one. For them, we use Ushapti bone. If the model has any bone pieces, they will probably be stuck in the fabric or in the hair. There shouldn't be any in the armor. They are very simple and quick to do. One pass and it's done. For various bags or straps, Morphang Brown is right for us. Another warm brown that gives the idea of leather. This model has only two pouches tied to the belt, nothing to elaborate. It won't take long to paint them. Now that we have painted all the base colors, it's time to fix the mistakes we made by painting over the parts we wanted to stay black, and we do that with Abaddon Black. Shoes are one part that we want to keep black. Unless you want to make them brown, that color is fine too. The clothes under the armor are black, found behind the tights and on the inside of the arms and neck. Then there's the rifle barrel. Watch out for the little metallic painted details. We concluded the first step. All the base colors of the model are done. A result that's not bad, I would say. Now we take care of the shadows, and in this case we change from usual and use null oil as shade. This is because we want the model to have duller and darker colors. This step is the easiest. Use a thicker brush and paint with this shade the whole model, every single part. No attention to detail, showering with null oil. As you can see, the colors of the Drukhari have darkened a lot, and the shade has settled into all the recesses, creating the shadows. Let's start the layer colors with the skin, which probably has more layers than all the other model pieces. Cadian flesh tone is the color we need now. Paint every part of the face uniformly, but letting the null oil show through in the recesses, the eyes, the mouth, the inside of the ears, all the main features of the face. The first layer of the skin is completed, and the face begins to show its expression. Let's go back to the armor and use the fang again to return the main color we have chosen to the model. Paint all the armor again, but this time, just like we did with the face, let the dark color show in the recesses. Paint only the main parts. I like to start at the legs and work my way up to the head. The parts in which to pay more attention are certainly the legs and arms, since the armor is layered one piece above the other, and we must avoid painting in the recesses and not nullify the effect obtained with the shade. Shoulder straps are easier to do, just avoid the spikes. Then there's the back. Here too there are many details to do. With this color we have finished an important part of the model. The armor is almost complete. The final step is missing. But first we have to deal with something else. Let's go back to using Warboss Green to restore color to the fabric at the waist. Generally I tend to use different base colors than layer colors, but in the case of the Drukhari I prefer to use the same colors because they had the exact hue I wanted to achieve. We do the same process as for the armor. Paint the fabric in the exposed parts. The green is also done. With this color you may have to do a couple of coats if you want a uniform result, as it is quite liquid. Push up the bone for the spikes we made earlier, easy choice. This to me is probably the fastest and easiest step to do, 2 brush strokes and on with the next color. The face needs a second shade, Rayclan Flesh Shade. This is because this color gives a reddish tint to the skin, unlike null oil which would darken it terribly. Paint with the shade on every exposed part of the skin. After you have let the shade dry, the skin will have darkened, but will have more facial detail in evidence. We can finally paint what will be the Drukhari's primary skin color, Kislev Flesh. It's a color with normal use for the skin highlight, but Drukhari have very fair skin, so we'll need an even lighter color for the highlight later. Paint the main details of the face, but leave the dark color in less exposed parts. The skin is almost done, only the final step is missing, but we'll deal with that later. It's time for the highlights. Let's start with the green, green camo. Take a fine tip brush and paint with this color only the edges of the fabric, the parts most exposed to light. Be very precise in this step. If your model has visible hair, you can choose the color. I chose Rhinox hide for this Drukhari, but other operatives in the squad have white or blonde or light brown hair. The choice that best suits you is yours. With downstone we can highlight black. As we did for fabric, we also do for black. Paint only the most exposed parts of the rifle and the clothes under the armor. The barrel part of the rifle is perhaps the most visible part to focus on. Scrag brown is the lightest brown we need to highlight the belt pouches. Here too, an easy and quick step. Here we are at the last color of the skin. The highlight is done with Screaming Skull. At this point, all that remains is to highlight the higher parts of the face, such as the cheekbones, nose and forehead. If there are scars on the face like in this case, you can highlight their contours. Drukhari have cables that run over the armor, usually over the left shoulder and hip. I chose Everland Sunset to paint them. Yellow is a color that, even if painted on a small detail, attracts attention, and for us it breaks up the monotony of the armor a bit. We finally got to the color to highlight the armor. It's rust grey. It's a grey that's not too dark but not too light and works well as a highlight for this model. Paint every exposed edge of the armor. At this point, you can take all the time you need to be precise, as the miniature is practically finished. As you can see, the armor is now brighter and more detailed than it was before. Only one last detail is missing, the yellow highlight. With Arial Yellow we take care of the cables that we painted before. This is the last step and it doesn't take long, just paint a small line on the cables and you're done. Your Drukhari is finished, you just have to choose how to make the base and you will have your team ready to create chaos on the kill zones. I really like this color scheme. I think it suits the Drukhari's gloomy nature a lot. What do you think? Before finishing, I would like to take a moment to thank our new member who have decided to support us on Patreon, Jimmy Lone. Thank you very much for believing so much in our project. If you guys want to support the channel and enjoy an additional exclusive battle report per month, or see your models showcased in our videos, the Patreon link is in the description. We are waiting for you on Discord. And if you have come this far, write the word knife in the comments to let us know. You are the best. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, leave a like and write us in the comments, we are always curious to know what you think. That's it guys, see you next video!